Have you ever thought about meditating on cannabis, even legal cannabis? Well, if you've thought about it, this video is for you, and I'm going to explain why and how. This is Eddie with a Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I offer you mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for your healing and spiritual transformation. We're in the waking up business, and most of our work is with plant medicine. So before we jump into this, just a couple of points. Cannabis is only legal in 24 states and the District of Columbia and Guam within the United States. And maybe you don't have access to legal cannabis. I'm not encouraging anyone to break the law. Okay, let's clear that up from the start. The second point is a little bit about my background. I've been meditating for over 40 years. I've been teaching for almost 20 years. I teach a regular class every week on meditation at Asheville Community Yoga. I have studied abroad. I've studied with some of the most advanced teachers that there are. Now, I'm not saying this to puff myself up. I'm saying it just so you know, I'm not some stoner who just decided to start meditating last night while I'm high. This is serious, and it's all about intention. What is your intention when you use this master plant of cannabis? So, why would someone want to do this? Well, first of all, I want to point out I'm not suggesting that you do all your meditation on cannabis. That's not what I do. I meditate every day, multiple times a day for short periods of time. And most of the time, I'm not enhanced at all. But there are occasions where I will ingest cannabis. And fortunately, here in North Carolina, we have this phenomenon called THCA, which is legal cannabis. It's cannabis that's picked early. It's still below zero point 0.3 in THC content, so it's legal. But I can assure you, it's very potent, and you can just go into a dispensary and buy it. Okay. So there's that. And when you get it, you can use it however you want. If you want to use it recreationally, that's your business. It's not mine. But if you want to meditate, here's what I do. When I ingest this medicine, I sit for 5 to 10 minutes with my eyes closed by myself and I meditate. I do that almost every time I do that because I view cannabis as a sacred plant. All right. Now, when you go to a dispensary, you have different options. You have sativa type strains. This is called, actually, this is an indica. This is mochi berry. And here's apple tart. This is a sativa. Now, I think that the differences between sativa and indica have maybe gotten a little overhyped, but most experts agree that sativa does have more of an energizing type of effect. And the indica strains, like mochi berry in this particular case, have more of a relaxing effect on your body. So, depends on what you want to do. Um, when I meditate, what happens is I usually use a mix or a blend of these. So I have both, I have access to a full range of different strains with all the various terpenes and endocannabinoids. And by the way, I'm going to put a description, I'm going to put a link to two videos in the description where I talk more about cannabis. Okay. So if you're interested in these, you can check those out too. So what I do is I meditate and I start with my body. There's two things that I really emphasize when I teach meditation. One is that the value of meditation is that it allows us to access our body. And I always start out meditation all the time with really bringing my attention to the fact that I'm sitting or standing or walking, because you don't have to just sit when you're doing meditation, right? So I really bring my awareness into the somatic experience of actually being in my body. And I think it's vitally important that we as humans be able to tune into the sensations in the body, that we bring our awareness in. And this is very difficult for a lot of people because of trauma that they've experienced in the past. And when we've experienced trauma, we don't want to be in our bodies. This is a way that our system sort of protects ourselves. So Our opportunity or our challenge is to be able to step into our bodies and notice what's happening in a curious, kind way. And what I notice with the cannabis is it's so somatic. When I feel myself breathe, I breathe from my toenails to the top of my head. It's just amazing. And I want to point out, I'm not talking about a huge blast of this stuff. I just take a little tiny puff. That's all it takes. And that's what I would suggest. Now, the other part of this, besides the body, is the mental aspect of meditation. And one of the things that I really stress is that it's important for us to be able to notice how our mind works, to be able to develop a relationship with it. Most people just believe every thought that comes into their head, or they're just caught in this constant monkey mind jumble of random nonsense, and they're unable to step out of it. And what I notice when I meditate, with or without cannabis, it helps me be able to start getting some clarity, some insights into what kind of thoughts are arising and passing away. There's a level of stillness that happens with cannabis that many people cannot find without it. Now, do you want to look at that as a crutch? You could. I can tell you, most of the teachers that I studied with, maybe all of them, don't agree with what I'm saying. They would say, no, 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 that's that's a crutch, or that's a violation of the fifth precept. Anybody who's a practicing Buddhist eventually takes the five precepts, and the fifth one is no intoxicants. So most teacher would say, Eddie, what are you doing? That's an intoxicant. Well, they have a right to their opinion, and that's okay. And I'm not trying to talk anybody into doing anything. But if you've thought about this, it's something you can do. And, if you're interested in finding out more about this and you want to talk to us, fine. Watch the other videos. And if you are in a position where you can go out and get legal cannabis, that's great. You're not breaking the law. You're just exploring possibilities. So that's my thoughts on this. If you have any comments, please leave them. I'd be curious about other people's experience. And obviously, if you like this video and you want more, just go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell. And every time I pump out a new video, you'll get notified and you can decide if you want to check it out. So thanks for watching.